Wait a second.
What are we waiting for?
Hang on.
Right.
I don't remember how I normally lead this off. It's been a while since we did this. I'm pulling up the doc. Give me a second.
Ah,
Oh no!
dude.
Don't you fucking click on a keyboard.
Okay, all right. I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right.
Hey, everybody, and welcome back to 4-Player Co-op. I'm Gladys. With me, as always, our Cryptic Panther.
Hey, everybody.
And doing work.
What's up?
Uber cannot make it tonight for the podcast, the return. We've been away for a while. It's been a few weeks since our last podcast, but the three of us are back here ready to go and full of fire. There's been a lot of news out on the internet today and on Reddit specifically, and it's picked up a lot of traction, and it's a really, really big, potentially game-changing, literally, for the entire genre that we're in, and all kinds of games in the future. This could have implementations that we could see for the next decade. So it's a hugely important time right now going on. So we wanted to get this podcast out kind of on the fly as quick as we could. The first post that started this whole train rolling is in response. We're talking, of course, about Star Wars Battlefront 2. For those of you that are unaware, this is releasing extremely soon. Actually, by the time we post this podcast, it might be out. But between the alpha, the beta, early access players, and reviewers, there's been a lot of people that have played, and there's been a lot of information released about this game. And just recently, not a lot of good information. And this is what started the whole blow up. A post on Reddit. It says, seriously, I paid $80 to have Vader locked. This is a joke. I'll be contacting EA support for a refund. I can't even play fucking Darth Vader. Disgusting. This age of microtransaction has gone way too far. Leave it to EA, though, to stretch the boundaries. A developer from EA, DICE, actually responded to this and has now broken the internet. The current post sits at negative 530,000 points.
No, it's 539. I just refreshed.
Refresh to 539. Excuse me. Oh my god. All right, so this post in itself, like I said, has broke the internet. Not only is this the most downvoted comment ever on Reddit, this is also the actual most voted on thing at all ever on Reddit by a wide margin. This has seen a response bigger than anybody could have dreamed of or responded. This post itself was given almost 100,000 upvotes, but the number of downvotes that this developer response has received is actually disproportionate in such a way that even the highest rated comment or post on Reddit still does not reach this. The negative has created such an avalanche of downvotes that
It's crazy.
it's unbelievable.
I
Dude,
honestly,
the subreddit only has 101,000 people in it.
I honestly think that if he was still alive, Hitler wouldn't get this many downvotes.
I don't know about all that.
Hey, Trump didn't get this many downvotes.
Yeah, the
He
Russians.
got 3 million less. That's right.
The Russians.
Anyway,
The Russians thought of that. But anyways.
yeah, well, different rant video maybe for some other time. All right, so this developer response, I'll read it. This is probably going to be the only thing I'll read in its entirety. We have a lot of links to go through. So the EA community team Reddit account responded and said to this poster, the intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking different heroes. As for cost, we selected initial values based upon data from the open beta and other adjustments made to milestone rewards before launch. Among other things, we're looking at average per player credit earn rates on a daily basis, and we'll be making constant adjustments to ensure that players have challenges that are compelling, rewarding, and of course, attainable via gameplay. We appreciate the candid feedback and the passion the community has put forth around the current topics here on Reddit, our forums, and across numerous social media outlets. Our team will continue to make changes and monitor community feedback and update everyone as soon and as often as we can. So there's a ton of things wrong, as 500,000 people have agreed with this response. And among other things, and there's many things that we have to get to, we'll try to make this as quick as possible. Like I said, there's plenty of links. Many things is that for those of you that are unaware or uninformed on how Battlefront 2 works, the loot box system is essential It is actually the driving force behind progression in the game in its entirety. All the star cards, the weapon upgrades, defensive upgrades, offensive abilities, um, weapons themselves, and heroes. Everything is credit based, which you can get from loot boxes. But these star cards are wholly designed around the loot box RNG system. So for people to attain these loot boxes, you have to spend credits earned in game on them, and you don't earn many credits for what you actually do in the game. Somebody actually did some data calculations, and in one of the posts here, it was said that all of the achievements in the game, every single one of them that have a reward, will only net you 32,000 points. Now, this isn't enough to buy one of the heroes. As of yesterday, the hero cost was 60,000 per hero, 60,000 credits, that is. So every achievement in the game that you can complete that gives you a reward would only give you about half as much as you need to actually unlock a hero. And somebody else has also done the math and said that the average player, the average play time, etc., all that calculated up, it would take about 40 hours to earn enough credits to unlock one of these heroes. Pair that with the information that the credits that we're referencing saying 40 hours, it's not just 40 straight hours and then you get it. It's 40 hours of earning credits and not spending those credits on any other upgrades, on nothing. Playing the absolute vanilla opening level 1, doing nothing with credits for 40 hours.
Yay! Fun.
Zero progression.
Yay! Yes. Fun.
So fellas, before we get into specifics here, is there any opening comments or anything that sticks out in your mind that you want to have said first?
Go fuck yourself, EA. Oh wait, was that what? Did I steal yours? Did I steal your thing? I'm sorry, dude. That's the hashtag stolen. The one thing that we were mentioning in pre-podcast was also just because you unlock, you earn 40 credits or 1,000 or what arbitrary number they're going to stick on credit rewards by the time this thing launches on Wednesday or Friday or whatever the fuck it launches. Early access, I think, is tomorrow, Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then if it doesn't, anyone who didn't pay for the early access gets it on Friday. I don't know, whatever. Anyways, the game, I think, launches for everybody Friday, I do believe. So anyways, whatever arbitrary number they stick on unlocking a hero, that doesn't mean you get to play as that hero.
Right.
You get him unlocked, he sits in your inventory. So that whenever you're playing the game, so you're playing a round of Assault or whatever it is, and you're playing along, and if you earn enough reward points in that round, then you can use that character. But if you don't earn enough points in that round, you don't even get to play as the fucking hero. So you could spend 40 hours, you could play the game, not spend any money on upgrades on all the other classes or ships or anything else, unlock Vader, Rey, whoever, Luke, whatever you want to unlock, and then you get into the game, you have no upgrades on your other fucking characters, so you're at a disadvantage against everybody else that's put in 40 hours. I'm not even talking about paying for loot crate yet. This is before you pay. So right off the bat, you're going to be behind. You may have the skill, but then everyone's got defensive upgrades. I don't know, is there random rewards given at the end of the round as well, or is it just credits? Can you get random rewards? You get daily crates, so you get a daily crate for free.
Right, but I believe the rewards from the end match is just credits, and those credits are used to buy upgrades or boxes.
Okay, so you get a daily, so you have to you have to log in every day to get your crate. Well, I don't know if it carries over. If you log in after 5 days, they give you 5 crates. I have no idea, but even still, in random crates you might get some decent upgraded cards. You might get lucky, but still, you haven't used any of your in-game credits after 40 hours. You unlock Vader. Maybe you're like me. I'm not a great first-person shooter player. I mean, I have my moments, like we talked earlier. I'm still not the greatest. I played the beta, and I didn't put a lot of time into it because I was fucking busy when the beta was on. Even in PC, I tried it, and all I got to unlock was the fucking battle drone. I never got enough credits to unlock a hero in the game.
Yeah, I didn't either. So,
and like I said, I didn't put a lot of hours into it either to really get a hang of it and to learn the map that we were playing on. But still, you figure the beta would have been, maybe it was easy and I just sucked. I don't know. But still, the fact is that you can spend all your credits to unlock a hero, but still never get to use them if you can't perform well enough in a round to earn the points to actually play as the character.
Yep.
That's a fucking problem.
And not only that, but the entire time, we say 40 hours right now as if it's a set time.
Yeah, that's
well, here's the thing though, is that the 40 hours that you spent are going to get progressively harder for you because everyone else hypothetically is going to be leveling up and getting those upgrades and offensive and defensive boosts and everything. So 40 hours, that's at a set average credits per game. Those average credits, I feel, mathematically will go down the more time you spend because other people will be leveling up. So you're going to be performing worse because they have boosts.
Well, so yeah, that's definitely something that could potentially cause the problem. Exactly. So, yay.
And even if we say 40 hours right now, we really have to put this and compute it in terms of actual playtime for the average person. And if we say 40 hours and that's 2 hours per day, that's 20 days. We're talking almost to the day, 3 weeks of playing this game without spending anything on upgrades just to get a hero, as Panther just said very clearly, that you might not even be good enough to play with in a round. That's simply to unlock him. That's not guaranteeing that you're going to be able to play with him.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's bullshit. Yeah.
Orc, what about you? You got anything specific before we move on?
I'm so heated. I don't know that I can focus into a beam of consciousness right now.
All right.
It's ridiculous. I mean, you guys are hitting all the nails on the head, man. It's horseshit.
Yep.
Who's got that kind of time? And then, oh my gosh.
Well, here, let's put this in perspective. You fellas both know me, and anyone that listens to this podcast, and even most of the people that we communicate with on a regular basis when we talk gaming, know that I'm not a fan of rival X Factors at all. Whenever he posted his video about it being pay to win, and he talked about he was like 3 hours in, he was already level 14, he had a maxed out fighter jet, and he was smoking everybody. And he spent $90 and unlocked a shitload of stuff in the game. Just kind of the thing. I couldn't believe I fucking agreed with him. Because usually anytime X Factor complains about something, I find half the time it's unwarranted, or maybe I'm just jaded against some of his comments early in the Battlefield days. I thought he was a bit of a douche. But I never really give two fucking shits about what he said. But when he posted that video and it was up on Reddit, I definitely don't subscribe to him on YouTube, I couldn't believe I actually agreed with him about how horrible this is. And now that more and more of it's coming to light and the more information that gets released, it blows me away that someone at fucking EA thought this was a good idea. I just can't fucking wrap my head around it.
What time was that comment?
And I just refreshed it. We're at negative 542,000 right now.
I don't know what time of the day it was, but can you imagine being that dude who made that post and coming into work on Monday morning? Like, Bill, we need you on the 700th floor right the fuck now.
And we're throwing you the fuck out the window.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
Oh man. Yeah. This is.
It's terrible, and it's
a mess. It
hurts
awful.
me so bad because I wanted this game to be awesome.
Yep, and so did I.
Battlefront franchise, dude. I love it.
I've been a Star Wars, not even Battle. Yeah, I've been a Star Wars fan since I was a kid.
Dude, like, I have Battlefront 2, like the OG one from 10 years ago. I have it installed on the computer that I'm sitting at right now.
Like, it's just, I mean, like, oh man, yeah, it just. EA can suck my left nut.
I should have swiped left on EA, man.
Yeah, unfortunately, we don't really have a choice anymore. All right, we'll move on. We'll move on to the next link here. So link number 2 that we have is posted. This is a day ago. The title of it is "You Actually Get Punished by Playing Well," and that's. And I'm going to go off the post here. That's in the sense of this is not performance-based credit amounts at the end of the round, really. So, for instance, somebody who's AFK for the entire match or 80% of the match, or they go and hide in a corner or whatever, they'll get the same amount of credit as the guy who kills tons of enemies and played the objective. It's not performance based, how many credits you earn in multiplayer matches. It's time based currency. So the longer that a match goes on, the more credits are earned. I don't even know, like, the it's just completely asinine and it's absurd. I don't understand how that would make sense in any way from a developer standpoint. I don't get it. And I'll be the armchair developer right now. How the fuck?
What happened to XP based rewards?
I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, like Battlefield 3, what was wrong with that progression system?
Yeah, or medals, ribbons.
Yeah.
Nothing.
Yeah.
There was all sorts of cool ways, stuff.
In that sense, I think Battlefield 3 was flawless.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, like, I wanted to mention this pre-podcast, but I wanted to save it. Why do they have to have cards and credits and coins and crystals and fucking 16 different types of in-game currencies to fucking manipulate? And it's to fucking make people think there's lots to do.
Well, that and money. That's
no, but I mean, even if you couldn't buy these fucking loot crates, right? Even if you couldn't go out and buy them, if there was no microtransactions, but there's cards, there's credits, there's crystals. You turn crystals into fucking credits. You turn credits into fucking upgrade your car. Like, why is it got to be a fucking 16-page spreadsheet to realize how do I fucking turn this fucking this sniper rifle into a fucking auto rifle? Like, why the fuck is it got to be so difficult?
A year ago when they said there was 3 times the content, and I immediately called it out and said, what the hell does 3 times mean? Unless you give us direct numbers, I mean, what the fuck are you even talking about? 3 times what?
Well, the content, though, was the amount of maps and the amount of vehicles and the amount of, like, all they needed to do to fix this game, to make it better than the previous Battlefront, would have been to give us more fucking maps to play and maybe come up with a new fucking game mode or something. The other game was fine, picking up the random shit on the map. It kind of sucked because people would camp them. I mean, that kind of got a little bit, but they could have randomized them or something. There should have been a better system they could have come up with than this. It's a convoluted fucking mess. At first, I thought, okay, if you're playing in the game and you get these in-game rewards and you can unlock a hero, I'm like, okay, whatever. Depending on how big the spread of points are, it might not be too bad. At least it keeps people from camping one spot waiting for the Jedi fucking thing to pop up, right? Or the ATA walk or whatever. Okay. But then when I play the game and realize that it takes so many points to fucking get there, it's like, wow, that's going to be sucky for me or anyone who's not as good as me because I'm not that great. They're never going to get to play that. It's part of the fucking excitement. I mean, yes, I don't want to be Darth Vader every time I launch into the game because that's going to be, that'd still get boring. It's still a first-person shooter. It's a military-style shooter. The hero rewards are, a reward. Fine. Yep. I get it. Play well, you get the reward. I get that. But then they go and add all these microtransactions and all this fucking buffs and cards and crystals. It's like, it's a compliment. I don't even want to play the fucking game. Even if they come out and said, all right, we're getting rid of microtransactions completely. I know they're not going to, but if they did, I still don't want to play this game because it seems like it's just a fucking convoluted mess.
Yeah, well, and a lot of the progression is just, it's loot based, loot box based, excuse me. It's RNG, so it's not even guaranteed that you're going to get stuff that you want, and that it's so fucked in the way that we normally play video games and that we're used to playing video games. And I'm not even necessarily opposed to change, as long as it's changed for the better and it makes sense and it's rational and it's not an attack on the consumer's senses or like in this case with them putting the heroes so far out of reach that it's just unachievable in a decent amount of time or an average amount of time for somebody to get. Now, them saying that it's supposed to give us a sense of achievement or accomplishment or reward. Exactly. Get the fuck out of here. I didn't pay $60 for this game to feel a sense of achievement. I want to play the biggest franchise ever as the biggest characters ever. And I want to experience this in this game. Not work a 40-hour full work week on this game over the course of a month or 2 months in order to maybe play as a character if I do good enough in the game to do it.
How many of you pay your boss to go to work and then hope that you get a raise?
There you go. Oh, I like the comment or the comment on the big one. It's like, I wonder if Burger King wants to sell me a sense of pride and accomplishment for making me work 10 hours for my fucking fries. Like that is 60,000 upvotes. That's an amazing fucking comment.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, like, exactly. I mean, you pay for the game, but then you got to work, you know, more to earn it. Like, that's the whole thing with we talked about. I mean, it's a little off topic because it's kind of the Battlefront, but it's still EA. It's Battlefield. The thing with the DLC and Battlefield 1, you have all these crazy assignments you have to do to unlock these fucking guns.
Yeah.
Like, fuck. Like, I don't want to shoot a goddamn plane down with a shotgun.
Bullshit.
Like, that's like, fuck. That pisses me off. Yeah. Throw rocks at the fucking behemoth till it fucking falls off the map. Like, all right, I'll do that, you fucking assholes.
It's like EA decided they were going to try to reinvent the wheel and they unveiled a fucking triangle. I don't get it. This roll, like,
if we push it hard enough, it'll roll. That's exactly it.
If we pad it with money, it'll be like a wheel again.
And we lube it with the tears of our fans.
Lube it with tears, yeah.
Tears of the gamers.
Wow. Somebody needs to get on Reddit right now and comment that because that'll get gilded, I swear.
Which one?
Both of them.
They tried to reinvent the wheel and made a triangle.
Yeah.
All the words are locked.
Yeah, they locked them
out. My keyboard's too loud.
Use your goddamn phone.
That's great. All right. So moving on a little bit. In response to that post about them getting punished for paying well, or playing well, excuse me.
Paying well. You got that right.
Yeah. So the EA community team, the same account that has the now historic record-breaking negative downvotes, they responded and said, "Our team is looking at this seriously. We agree that this isn't an ideal outcome, and we will provide an update on how we can make this better for you and the community as soon as we can." I don't understand, once again, how, after this backlash, they agree it's not ideal. How full of shit are these fucking people?
I'm thinking someone's losing their job over this. If not one, maybe more than one person. You know, I mean, I'm not gonna. I mean, we know EA is the driving force behind this. I'd really like to hear some candid fucking comments from the actual DICE team on this, because we don't. Going to. I know. I would love to. I'd like to hear what they have to say. You know, I'd love to be like a fly on the wall with them all sitting in the room, being free to speak, saying, you know, I wish the fuck we could get it at EA because they're just fucking driving us into the ground. You know, I mean, like, what? How do they have to feel about this? Maybe they don't give a fuck because they're getting paid.
I don't like to think that. No,
I don't either. But I mean, I know they can't come out and say anything because they'll get fired over it.
Right.
You know that for a fact. But I mean, I just can't imagine them being fucking happy with this. They gotta be just beside themselves, realizing that, you know, people associate them with this fucking flaming train wreck.
Well, it is them though. I mean,
but
not all the way to the top, I'm sure. But DICE is now owned by EA.
Right.
They don't have a choice. They're not a separate company.
Right, but I'm saying like them is the game developer, like them fellas sitting pounding the code, making the game, and then being told, well, you have to make loot boxes and you have to make this and you have to make it so this happens and that happens, and you know, how do they sit back and go, yeah, this is a good fucking idea? Like, do they push back? Are they allowed? Like, I mean,
one of the developers did say that himself, the poster, and several other developers also kind of pushed back and said that they agreed this was not a good direction to go, and they tried to push back, but they basically didn't have the power to do it.
And I mean, like whenever they talked about
losing his job,
yeah, he's going to be they're going to fabricate some emails. Yeah, they're going to fabricate some emails that it was all his idea.
They're going to execute Order 66 on the whole DICE team.
You can order Looty Boxy.
Looty Boxy. Yeah, but like I said, I couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine being the guy sitting there making this game and realizing that everyone in the fucking the free world like to bend me over and shove every copy up my ass because of what's coming out of what's coming out of the what's coming out of the on Friday or Tuesday or whatever the fucking game releases. Like it's just someone posted a clip from what's that War of the Worlds, the Tom Cruise version of War of the Worlds when they're all running down the street and the train crossing the train crossing iron comes down and all of a sudden the train goes fucking screaming by the front of them and it's all on fire.
Yep.
So that's EA right now. I was like, damn, that's pretty. I say flaming train wreck. That's been one of my favorite words to say. This is like a toxic dumpster fire. It's there's so many great acronyms to use for this.
Yeah,
but
is there like a Luke Smith for EA? Do they have a community manager?
They do. Yes.
Face?
Yeah. There's a DICE guy and an EA guy, and I can't remember the DICE games guy. Actually, there's a couple guys at DICE that'll actually have been interviewed and do interviews at different events like E3 and shit. There's a couple of them from DICE, but don't ask me their names because they're Swedish or whatever they are.
Swedish.
Their Swedish last names are
Swedish.
Jingleheimer Smith and shit.
Let me move here. So, the next link that I have is about the achievements for trophy hunters out there, for people that like to platinum games, complete everything, completionists. Really, I myself am not one of them. I don't really care that the game gives me a digital trophy. But for you achievement hunters out there, there's an achievement called "Do or Do Not." There is no try, and to receive this achievement, you have to play as all the heroes there are in multiplayer. So that added to everything that we've said so far of averaging 40 hours and everything like that, there are, I think, 6 or 8, I'm actually not positive on this, 6 or 8 heroes in the game. So if you times that by the hours that it takes to get them, and also the hours that's taking of not progressing in any way, shape, or form because you're simply saving.
Well, the only way you're progressing is by random rewards and loot boxes that you get every day for free.
Well, I suppose, that there is that. So, this whole time you will be getting daily random boxes.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you can't spend any credits. So, without spending credits, all those hours, that would add up to a couple hundred hours just to unlock all the heroes. And then after you unlock them, you actually have to play as the heroes in order to get this achievement. So another just that knife a little bit deeper. And the worst thing is that's actually really into the hardcore players. That's actually almost not achievable for anybody, not even just the general people.
Yeah,
that's wild, man.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
It's just another thing to say, hey, we're sticking your ass with any lube at least, The Amazon does sell 55-gallon drums. EA, take some of that loot box money and buy some before you start fucking all the people that play your video games.
Yep.
God damn.
Any comments on that before we move to the next link?
Just the typical go fuck yourself, EA. I mean, it's not typically, realistically, it's not a bad achievement or trophy or whatever you want to call it.
Well, at surface value,
but it's not a bad. I even like the name of it because that, funny enough, is my fucking part of my signature, my fucking work email. Do or do not. There's no try. Hell yeah. But yeah.
I like that Yoda's not in the game as a hero, but he's got a fucking.
Is he not? I thought he was.
On that list I saw on one of these things. His name.
Fuck. I thought, well, there you go. TIL.
You mean to tell me you're gonna give me Chewbacca?
Oh yeah, Chewbacca's alright. Oh shit! I think I actually did play as. I played as Chewbacca when I played in the fucking beta. I do remember that now. I played as Chewbacca, but he was cheap compared to the other heroes to buy with your. He is one of the cheaper ones. Yeah, in-game credits you earn while you're playing, whatever you want to call it.
Palpatine, Chewbacca, Leia, and Iden.
That's the campaign hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool. It's not Yoda though. So.
Oh, we must be getting added down the road then, because I'm positive they said something about Yoda. But anyways,
I mean,
yeah, you should bring me added one of the free DLCs that everyone pays for with their loot boxes.
That'll be another batch of trophies.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we'll move on. If nobody else has any comments for that,
No, we're good.
The next link is our sarcastic title. Don't worry, guys. EA is clearly listening and investigating the possibilities to improve the progression system. What they link and why this is sarcastic is it's a screenshot on the origin page for a Star Wars Battlefront 2 starter pack. And the description for the starter pack is the Star Wars Battlefront 2 starter pack gives you the upper hand in a war spanning the galaxy. Gain instant access to 3 rare star cards that improve your defensive abilities on the battlefront. Plus, get 1,500 crystals to purchase crates to unlock upgrades and exclusive abilities. So, as Panther and I said pre-podcast, we'll repeat again here. To buy this starter pack, and if Panther and I both bought the game for the equal amount of $60, and we both jump on with 0 playtime, but I bought this pack, I will have, as it's stated in the description, defensive abilities with the 3 rare star cards and crystals as well to purchase more crates to unlock more things. So the top rated comment on here, as doing work was crackling up about, is gives you the upper hand, not pay to win though. And it's again making fun of EA and DICE and their mantra of this is not pay to win, but you can spend money to help you get better at the game and do better at the game and have an advantage over other people, but it's not pay to win.
No, clearly not.
What the fuck?
I like that a couple of comments down there's a dude who says, man, take this shit off your wish list.
Yeah, the poster screenshotted it. It said
it's on his fucking wish
Take
list.
this shit off your wish list.
Shit, I didn't even see that. Fuck. That is too
See
fucking...
him backpedaling. He's like, oh, I didn't put it there intentionally. I probably accidentally added.
Fuck.
That's
Jeez.
fantastic.
That is amazing. That's the topper right there.
12,000
So
crystals is $89.99.
Yep. God. So yeah, it's definitely pay to have a big advantage, which will translate in the actual gameplay of paying to win. Statistically, you will do better with these things, so you will win more often. That's pay to win.
Yep.
There's no other interpretation. That's it.
Remember when video games used to be pay to play?
Yeah.
Pepperidge Farms remembers.
Holy shit. All right, so a little bit below, dude, this fucking thread is gold. It says, honestly, at this point, the only way I'll ever respect EA again is if they just double down on loot boxes. Like, imagine how alpha it would be. Oh, you don't have 40 hours for one hero? Well, now it's 100. Also, the start campaign button is in a loot box. The game itself is in a loot box. You pay $80 for a box with 3% Battlefront 2 multiplayer, 5% single player drop rate. Everything else is just ads that say pre-order. Pre-order now. I'm fucking done. That's the best comment I've seen all day. Holy shit. Oh my gosh.
We're having a good laugh, but you know what? I mean, one of our friends in Slack chat made the comment. It makes me rage of the next Battlefield game that's supposed to launch the end of next year. How fucked is that going to be?
I mean, it depends.
Well, I mean,
if there's loot boxes, it's probably going to be fucked.
Oh man!
Right?
And the way it's looking, there's going to be. This is now the third major game from DICE that has loot boxes very heavily incorporated.
God.
So, it's as far as as of today and yesterday, it's here to stay. This is the thing.
Well, so. even in the what do you call those, the meeting, the phone call meetings, the developers, shareholder meeting. That's what you call them fucking things. The one for Take-Two, every game that they release will have fucking microtransactions.
God.
They fucking said that. So Red Dead 2 is gonna have microtransactions.
Well, I mean, as long as it's like different horses.
Long as it's the online buying shark card shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say, for me, if it's multiplayer only, and if it's only for multiplayer cash or whatever, similar to somewhat how GTA Online works, then I don't really give a fuck about that.
No, I don't either. So
yeah.
I'm hoping
more cosmetic stuff.
Yeah, those games, GTA and well, I mean, GTA arguably now could go either way, but historically at least, GTA and Red Dead were always single player powerhouses with a multiplayer component.
Right. So I mean, if they're going to add, long as the loot crate or microtransaction style stuff is all, if it is based on cosmetics or maybe getting the purple horse or some shit, I don't know what they're going to do for their online, but I mean, as long as it's not like a competitive multiplayer with fucking pay to win, the same this shit is. Microtransactions are probably never going to go away because way too many people spend money on them. But for the fact is that in their shareholder meeting, they basically said that every game that they release is going to have microtransactions. That is not what we want to hear as gamers. I don't anyways.
You're going the wrong way.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Moving on to the next topic here. This is really, I think, that what cuts to the heart of the matter. And this is a post by a guy who claims to work in electronic media public relations. This is not at all associated with EA or anything company wise what we're talking about, but just an electronic media public relations, I guess, specialist or whatever. So this guy is very familiar with how big companies have the public relations strategy and how they use and how they will affect the narrative and drive opinions and stuff like that. So he wrote this this is actually a very long post, and it's got 16,000 upvotes right now. It was submitted 23 hours ago. So he says, I work in electronic media public relations. I'll tell you what EA's PR strategy is regarding the progression system. I'm not going to read this entire thing because it's actually very long. But of course, as we always do, everything that we talk about will be linked in the description of the YouTube video when we release this podcast. If you're listening on SoundCloud, head over to the YouTube page and find the links there, or you probably have seen them on Reddit if you're at all informed about this stuff. Anyways, I'll continue. Basically, he says that EA spends tens of thousands of man hours focus testing and doing market research on the optimum way to wring money out of your wallet. They understand the clusterfuck they have on their hands. So they're not interested in fixing it because fixing it means they're making less money, and they don't want to do that. So they're going to use a technique referred to as, quote, making the outrage outdated. And this is what they did with the beta. This is what they did with the original 2015 release of Star Wars Battlefront, when they said, we're listening, we've made changes and everything. The beta for Battlefront 2 had a great deal of backlash, and instead of actually fixing anything with an actual solution from what we wanted, they, quote, made changes. The effect of the changes were negligible, but it didn't matter because all the articles written about the flaws of the beta and the complaints by users became outdated and replaced by articles and comments about how they were making, quote, changes. This allows them to control the narrative of their product without losing any money or making significant changes. The fact that the changes didn't help and potentially made the game worse, as we now see, doesn't matter. It's that the company can say, we made changes. That's their narrative now. We're listening. We understand. We're looking into it. These are all PR tools that they can use to, as this guy says, make the outrage outdated. So as Panther just alluded to, we have a friend of ours that we game with frequently, and he's saying... Yeah, he's saying, I won't name him by name because I love the guy to death, but I heavily disagree with this and very vehemently so, that they fixed it, and that almost jokingly saying that, oh, well, it's already been fixed, so why are we still going on about this? Like, this isn't a big deal anymore. But it is, because what they've done is they've taken a really shit situation and a really, really anti-consumer situation. And now the narrative is going to be, according to this backlash, they've made changes, and now they're going to be the good guys again. And that's not the case, because number one, the system is still in place. And that's the real problem. It's not necessarily even that the heroes were out of reach. It's because they weren't achievable through standard gameplay in a reasonable amount of time. And that the standard gameplay is a RNG based progression. It's not progression based on performance necessarily. It's not progression even if you wanted to directly spend money, you're still RNG based. Nothing is guaranteed because it's randomly opening boxes. You still can't get what you want specifically even if you want to spend money on it. Everything is random. And that's unreal. This should not be in place in a AAA shooter or any other AAA game as far as I'm concerned. This is the territory of mobile games, where they can charge $1 for this and $1 for that, and they make their millions with these tiny little charges for instant gratification for people, that don't want to wait 12 hours for something to complete.
Yeah,
they can spend gems and do this and that,
right. And that's a game that you don't pay anything for.
Exactly, those are free to play games. When you pay $60 for a complete,
just to get in the gate.
Yes, for a complete game made by a AAA developer with millions of dollars poured into this game, you don't buy this game expecting to have to pay more money just to play with certain people or certain way.
Pay money to hope to play with those.
Yeah, not even, again, not guaranteed because it's RNG based. It's not even if you play long enough, you'll get it. It's maybe you'll get it.
That would be like Panther rolling to the Kia dealer and buying a new car and then having to pay another $50 to spin a wheel to see if he can get a fucking engine in it.
There you go.
That's exactly it.
That's your third spin. That's your third steering wheel. Oh,
yeah, right. I don't know where we're gonna put this one at.
Well, if you can collect 5 more steering wheels, you can trade in for one tire.
What they'll tell you is you don't have to pay to get the engine, but you can only spin the wheel once per day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or you can drop more money to get 10 spins per day. But it's still random.
God, I'm gonna take that idea down to the dealership and say this is how you should run your fucking business into the fucking ground because no one ever come back.
It's crazy.
And you know what? You know why they're doing this? Do you know why EA's doing this to loot boxes and all this pre-order microtransactions? Is because they just bought Respawn for $455 million. The makers of Titanfall 2. That was a giant fucking clusterfuck loss. The Respawn guys that left Activision because they hated fucking big corporate, they just sold out to fucking EA for $455 million. So that's why EA is doing this with loot boxes, and that's just why they're not going to get rid of them, because they got to fucking recoup that $455 million.
I can't verify this, but one of the comments out of the hundreds that I've been able to read today, in and out of work and on lunch break and since I've been out, one of them was actually that in games such as this, in AAA games with loot box or microtransactions, is that the developers make more money on microtransactions than they do on game sales.
Oh yeah. They do?
Oh yeah,
I can't verify that, but I absolutely believe it. That may be a bias, but
Grand Theft Auto, they've made millions off of shark cards. Millions.
I bet.
Yeah. So I mean, it's a lucrative fucking business.
Yep.
But we got a post coming right up here, and how they fixed it. They fixed the game though, right?
According to our friend, yeah.
No, but this post though, this is our next topic, right?
Yes.
This is the fix. Everyone can just relax now.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we'll roll into that. I'll go ahead and read it. So on the EA website, EA Games Star Wars, getting to Battlefront 2, the Battlefront 2 page on EA.com is a message from John Wasilczyk. I have no idea how to pronounce the last name, but he's the EP over at DICE, the executive producer. So this is a very, very PR friendly post. I will not read all of it. I will read the important part for us, is that there's been a lot of discussion around the amount of in-game credits and time it takes to unlock some of the heroes, especially Vader and Luke Skywalker. Unlocking a hero is a great accomplishment in the game and something that we want players to have fun earning. It's clear that more changes were needed than the data that we used from the beta to set those levels. So we're reducing the amount of credits needed to unlock the top heroes by 75%. So Vader and Luke Skywalker, instead of the 60,000 credits that they were previously at, are now going to be available for 15,000 credits. Palpatine, Chewbacca, and Princess Leia are all going to be 10,000 credits each. And the new campaign hero, Iden, I'm not sure how to pronounce that exactly, that's going to be 5,000 credits. So this will make earning those heroes an achievement, but one that will be accessible for all players. This is directly from the executive producer at DICE. The problem, and I will jump just very briefly to the next article that we're going to link, is that as Game Informer states here, this is from one of the reviewers, during their review period, which was several days ago, or possibly further than a week ago, completing the campaign earned players a unique loot crate that contained 20,000 credits. That reward, as of the recording of this podcast 4 hours ago, the reward is now 5,000 credits, which is a huge change. Actually, the exact change that DICE said that they just made for the heroes, 75% reduction in the reward for completing the campaign.
Where there is life, there must be death.
Exactly. So to put this in the simplest layman terms possible, everybody was in an uproar about this. They reduced the cost of the heroes, but also reduced the rewards that you got from the game. So they cancel each other out, and it's still the same fucking problem.
Yep. Well, I mean, just it maybe not everyone was going to play the campaign, so some people never got the 20,000. But even still, I see your point is they took that 20,000 and reduced it to 5,000, along with reducing the cost of the heroes. So yeah, they canceled it out. But in reality, though, instead of 40 hours, it's only take you 25 hours to get Vader. Because
yeah, but again, 25 hours without any other progression.
Right. Well, yeah, exactly. Oh, yes. That's what I'm saying. But now it's only 25 hours. So instead of 3 weeks, it's only a week and a half of straight gameplay. So I hope you don't have a fucking job or a wife or kids or like to masturbate because you don't have fucking time for nothing else.
No, that's not true, because if you load into a lobby and you're AFK, you're still going to earn the same amount of credits.
Load into a game and just move your mouse every third stroke of the cock and you're good to go. Yeah, fuck. Actually, there's someone already wrote a macro for that. Someone posted on Reddit that the armchair, air quote armchair developers that we all are, one of them wrote a macro now that his mouse will move every so often, so he can just load into a fucking game and not even play and earn all the same rewards as everybody else.
Yep.
So there you go. You can multitask. You can watch porn and play Star Wars Battlefront 2 and earn the same rewards as the guy that's sitting there cursed and swearing because he can only get 5 kills around and not get a fucking hero. Life is great.
You get to play as a zero.
Not a hero.
Not a hero.
Love it. I still like how my comment on our Slack chat today is like, I guess EA has felt a disturbance in the force.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just hit refresh, and the developer response is at 552,000 downvotes now.
God damn.
That's gone up by 20,000 in the time of this podcast.
I want to get to 1 million.
I don't think it'll get there.
No,
but this has been endlessly reposted to any other gaming subreddit as well, and I mean Forbes has picked up on this, and all the gaming outlets are now going to be in on this. And this is going to inspire some type of feedback and change. I hope.
The one thing I do want to say though is the people that have and are doing the death threats, they need to fuck off. That is uncalled for.
Yeah, absolutely. And the gaming community has been united on that front as well.
Like
out of the 552,000 downvotes on here, one of the developers stated he was receiving death threats, and he said, what was there, 9 of them?
At the time, yeah, we made a Twitter post.
So less than a percent of players.
Well, directed, that was only directly to him. There was some Reddit
right.
There was some, and I didn't see them, but someone had commented that there was so many death threats made. Some got edited before they got flagged and removed. Quite a few were removed by the mods. So that's great. But still, there's no need of that. As much as I fucking am pissed off at how this has turned out, and I'll be returning my fucking pre-order on lands here at my door on Friday, and I'll be fucking happy when I do it in the fact that the EA is not getting my fucking money. But I'll be pissed because I don't get to play it. But it's there's no need to death threat against anybody, even the top brass at EA who sat down and signed off on this. Death threat's not warranted. The guy needs to be fucking punched in the balls a few times, but not killed. I don't want the guy to die. Like, fuck. Like, come on, people. But the anonymity of the internet, eh?
Yep.
So, yeah, like, I mean, the thing that's always gets said is vote with your wallet, when it comes to games. And I hope there's a lot of people that have been waiting to buy this game, have canceled pre-orders if it's available to them to cancel, or returning pre-orders like I am when my copy lands, who have definitely are not going to pick up this game until something really changes. And I mean, it saddens me the fact that I know that I was looking forward to this game, and I was basically going to be, my weekend was going to be Star Wars Battlefront 2. Now my weekend's going to be Horizon Zero Dawn, the Frozen Wild game of the fucking year. Because Guerrilla Games is awesome.
Weirdo.
What are you saying?
What?
What'd you say?
I thought you said you were going to play Destiny. I don't know why. I felt like you said something else.
No, I said I'm playing Horizon Zero Dawn.
For one, cannot wait for one of the several less than legal sites that I go to have a pirated copy of EA's latest masterpiece so that I can pirate it. Just to play the single player.
Yeah. That may happen in Canada too. It might.
I will definitely upload it. I'm looking at the latest Call of Duty right now.
Another point that we haven't quite touched on, but the very last article that we have, like I said, was from Game Informer, and this was actually posted because people, I guess, were asking where their review was for Battlefront 2 from their review copy. And they said, due to last-second changes to Star Wars Battlefront 2's hero cost, the reviewer decided to hold the review and will not be posting it until they have a firm grasp on the new flow of the game. This is important, I think, for reviewers and all these game websites and everything. Mm-hmm. It's important to not put something out there until we receive the finalized product, or rather they receive the finalized product that consumers are going to have. And this is especially important because in this particular instance, it's now been said and proven in multiple links that I've seen here that the review copies that they sent out have actually been tweaked to lessen the time to unlock everything.
Now, there's been some rebuttal pushed back in that Reddit post about that, saying it wasn't the review copies. It was like the capture, the event copies that there were people were going to events and playing.
Right. I've seen that.
It wasn't the actual review copies. And was saying because they're saying the review copies are full retail releases. So right. I don't know if
even the beta, the beta prices for the things were reduced, and that's directly from the same EA community team account on Reddit. The last post that they made, which was now over 24 hours ago, a day ago, it's got negative 22,000. It says beta prices were lowered to allow players to experience all the beta had to offer. Also, it was a beta/trial for us. We wanted to see how players progressed, how fast they unlocked content, etc. Beta was not a final product by any means. Like all betas, it was a learning experience and how our systems work, how players progress, etc. But he says, he confirms right there that the prices in the beta were lowered to allow players to experience all the beta had to offer. This trial that people keep saying, or a timed experience that people had with the game and how it was lowered only for that, he just confirmed that the beta, which had a couple million players, it was the same way there. So that was not indicative of what the final product was going to be. And typically we can say a beta is pretty close to the final product, usually.
Well,
right?
I mean,
that's normally stress testing.
Well, some betas are usually, they're just their basic, yeah, pretty much what the release is going to be, minus a few. They usually don't have everything available to you,
Well,
but
that's
yeah,
not normally
right.
sweeping changes, but he specifically.
Yeah. Oh, they come out and said that because of the backlash. It wasn't. It was community feedback is why they fucking changed. The loot system and took some of the rewards out of loot crates and changed some of those things around. But then they basically didn't make any actual improvements.
Well, no, because what I'm saying is this confirms in the excuse me, the beers are burping me up. In the beta, he's confirming that the player progression was actually sped up, so people could experience more.
Right.
That's the exact same accusation that was thrown at them for sending review copies. Now their response is that no, it's not the review copies, but if, as they've stated several times, it's being looked at day to day and being changed, and now from the beta it's that way. Who's to say? I mean, really, do you believe that it's not the same copies that the reviewers got? That it would have been changed for the better, but only for the review copies and not for the beta?
Yeah, that's
I don't believe that.
Well, like I said, I don't have 100% facts either way, but originally it was the review copies were manipulated for quick access, and then the actual releases were different, and then there was a lot of information that was flowing around about it was the capture event versions that people were talking about, not the review versions. I'm not 100% sure either way, but there was arguments made both ways, and the last argument I read on it was the review copies were the basic currency that the release copies were coming out this week. Only that the capture event versions were the ones that were manipulated with a lower currency or lower requirements.
Well, that and the beta now.
Well, the beta, yeah, but I'm just like I said, those numbers were manipulated one way or the other on both the beta and the review and the capture versions, but not.
All right. Well, then knowing that though, following that line of logic, if we can confirm that the beta and that little trial period, or the event, excuse me, the beta and the trial event were on one set of currency economics, and the review system was what they planned on releasing. Yeah. Why weren't they the same? Number one. And number two, you're purposefully giving the reviewers one copy, which is going to make the game look one way. You're giving the mass amount of players who are actually going to be the ones driving the business and buying and spending millions of dollars here. Those people are being misled directly because we weren't told.
Well, the thing is, too, that's why when it says, the little disclaimer, this is a beta and things are bound to change for release, that's how they get away with that. That disclaimer on the capture events, because anyone that goes to those capture events, they have to say the video's sponsored, and they have to say it's a beta. So in the beta, they always have that caveat saying that this is not a true reflection of the final release or whatever that.
But
that
is such a slimy fucking thing to
do. It's not. It pretty much every beta has that, right? Because there's going to be in a beta.
Everyone has that disclaimer, yes.
Because in a beta, there's going to be glitches and things going to be broken. You don't have full access to everything in a beta because they're not going to give you the full game to play. Why would they? They give you a taste, right? They give you They only give you the lick, not the suck on, right? So it's. But that disclaimer, that disclaimer lets them do what they want, and that's the problem. And now that it's come to light, they have to answer to that.
Well, here's why that's so slimy to me, and I feel like you're disagreeing in your comment here. But if you think back to the beta for Battlefield 3 or 4 or Battlefield 1 or even this one, you still have to experience the progression system. Well, the other betas, you don't have everything unlocked, or you don't unlock it super quickly. Actually, in any of those things.
In the Battlefield 1 beta, the progression system was boosted.
Really?
Yeah. Versus release, yeah, it was. And they stated that though. That was a statement made. That information was known at the time of the beta, because someone said how quick they're leveling up, and they said that they set it up to. In the beta, the progression was accelerated.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, well, you stopped me in my tracks on that one.
Yeah. Yeah. If I'm wrong, someone can correct me.
I'm okay with being wrong.
I remember that conversation on Reddit, and I'm positive we had a similar conversation. I don't know if it was podcast or just we were playing about, geez, I'm unlocking all this stuff and I have all these bonds. I got nothing to do with them now. But it was because things were kind of accelerated. I think when the beta was similar to the review, or was the capture event version that everyone was using. They give us this to the beta, and then whenever they went back to actually take the beta and go to the actual game, that's when they changed the progression system to the proper. But I do believe the review copy, or the capture event copy, is what we got as a beta, which had the sped up progression. I'm positive. I do remember this conversation.
I just don't see why. I mean, I understand from their perspective why it would be advantageous to do that, but it feels so fucking unfair as a consumer to not be told explicitly this is not how the game is going to play specifically for this progression system.
Yeah, progression system should be up front. I mean, I understand that maybe they might give you, like, in other words, they might give you some heroes to play with that are not going to be automatically released at launch. Yes. You have to earn them in game. That's fine. XP based released or whatever you want to, XP based rewards. That's fine. I get that. Whatever. But yeah, if they're going to say the progression system is, or the reward system is sped up or not, that should be one of the upfront things in a beta release when it's toted to the public, so that people know exactly what they're getting into, and not 3 months down the road whenever it's launch week and people are standing at the window with their $60 going, oh wait, now this isn't the same as the beta. Fuck you.
I mean, in this specific example, even just before this change was made, now again, our friend will tell us that it's been fixed, but the outrage is still purposeful. It still is applicable, because when we played the beta, we weren't told that it was going to take 40 hours of no progression to unlock a hero. If we were told that at the time, this outrage would have happened sooner, and we could have been further along the road to actually fixing this thing. But we weren't told that. We knew it was going to take some progression, but they were not upfront and honest about how much it would actually take. And that was only for one. So if you wanted to play as more than one, we're talking 80 hours at launch of what it was supposed to be. That's unreal, man. And that's so disingenuous to your people that are going to be buying your game, to the consumers that love the franchise. It's crazy.
I agree with you. And there's so much wrong with this that, like I said, if there's not some firings at EA, I'll be surprised. Or some people that are,
No, I don't think there will be.
I don't know. I think someone.
If it's like Bob from development, it's not. If it's not one of like the dudes flying out of a top floor window, it's not gonna matter.
No, but I mean, there's if things get to the point where they realize that this is basically gonna cost them a large amount of money, and it should. People are that pissed off. There should be that many people not buying this game. They should see that. The potential that someone could lose their job over this, or someone's going to be fucking demoted. Someone's going to be gone from. Someone's going to be gone from fucking loot box creator to fucking. They're going to be digging the dirt out of the fucking shoes of the guys when they walk in the door. Like, that's going to be his new job come Tuesday.
Well, there's unconfirmed reports of somewhere in the number of over 70,000 pre-orders for this being canceled.
Good.
And like I said, unconfirmed. But if you take as just a one example directly, and this is all conjecture, of course, and hypothetical, but if you take every downvote that this comment received and multiply that by 60 and say that number of people is not going to buy this game now, it's over $30 million.
Yeah,
that's a lot of money, even for EA.
That's a PR campaign.
Yeah,
they spend that kind of money on advertisement and PR campaigns for games now. So yeah, that's a whole PR campaign for not maybe this game, but for the next EA title.
Yeah. Now, for EA and for DICE, these are, some of the biggest names in gaming as far as development and publishing and all that. So $30 million is not in any way going to break them. That could absolutely make or break a smaller developer, though. I mean, it is a big deal.
Yeah.
It's not just throwaway money.
No, God, no. It's not. Yeah, that's not just wipe my butt money. That's some big coin. But like I said, that's a whole PR campaign. Like, I mean, the amount of money they spend on advertisement and PR, that's a whole PR campaign, or at least half of some of the big ones. I mean, that's a scary spot. Like $30 million is a PR campaign. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I mean, it blows me away. such disappointment.
Yeah. So the last comment I'll read here is one that responds to this developer comment about where they said the intent is to provide players with a sense of pride and accomplishment for unlocking heroes. The comment here, the pretty much the closing argument for me is summed up rather nicely here. The guy's name, I probably shouldn't. I shouldn't, but the comment itself says this is a cop-out answer. There is no pride if a different player can pay money to unlock Luke or Vader in seconds, and I have to grind 40 hours. If you can't figure out how to incorporate a sense of accomplishment without enraging the community, then I have no idea how the relevant developers got their job. Since I believe DICE are good at their jobs, I'm left unconvinced that this was a decision made with the community in mind. No, it was a decision made with currency in mind. No more half-ass answers. Be upfront, be honest, and fix this.
Yep, there you go.
That's it. So EA is doing a Reddit AMA on Wednesday, which is as of this recording 2 days away. It'll be on November 15th. So waiting to see the fireworks that happens. I said pre-podcast, this is probably going to be the most heavily protected and censored AMA that there will ever be.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully we'll see some good stuff happen from this. I would really love them to.
Don't forget to put a question mark at the end of your statement or it gets removed at an AMA. You're going to say something. Put a question mark on it.
Yeah. All right. Any closing comments from you guys?
Fuck you, EA.
Work? Anything?
I'm just disappointed. Very much disappointed.
This was supposed to be the one. They fucked up Battlefront, but this is supposed to be it.
You were the chosen one.
Yeah. For real though, the Battlefront was a gorgeous looking and sounding game, but shallow, way too shallow. And I hated the star cards. I returned it the week that I got it. And with this one, the free DLC, you're not going to have to pay for any of the stuff that we add later into the game. Sounded great. They said they listened, they fixed it, and motherfuckers just had to get greedy. They had to try to make more money. And they put up that soft paywall of, oh, you don't have to buy it, but it's going to take, a month of playing this game for several hours a day in order to get this. So, fuck you guys.
I'll ask you guys an interesting question.
Yeah.
Let's say that they just don't really do anything here. Are you buying the next Battlefield game?
It depends on everything entirely on the details of that game.
Well, I'll tell you. I'll tell you, right? I'll be up front at the next E3 pre-order event. I'll be pre-ordering the fucking game. And whenever it gets announced, it's going to be full of loot crates and microtransactions and crystals and diamonds and juju beebs and fucking everything else. I'll be returning my copy when it lands at my fucking door. The same I'm doing for this one.
Assuming that they change nothing, which would basically them non-verbally telling you to just eat a dick, right, without actually saying it, you would still give them your money if it was when it's the next Battlefield game.
If it's a Battlefield, whatever version comes out next year, and they actually have they revert back to like a Battlefield 3 style progression system that's not full of fucking microtransactions, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, I'm not like, how are you gonna never play another EA game? They develop and push out too many games for people to completely and utterly say we're never playing another EA game. There's people out there that will do that. There is going to be people that will never shell out money for another EA game because of this, and I salute them. I mean, like I said, there's not a lot of EA titles that I play because I don't play a lot of the sports games. So I mean, I'm probably being a lot of money I'm going to spend on EA right now in the near future because there's too many good developers out there that don't fucking rape their fucking gamers. Or don't fuck them over. I shouldn't say the word rape, I guess. They don't fuck them over, And I mean, I'll be honest. I mean, if they're going to come out with the proper fucking title and the proper progression system and no this pay-to-win bullshit, I won't have a problem of supporting that title. And I don't look at it as supporting all of their past mistakes or their future mistakes. When I support somebody and we're giving them my money, it's because of what they're giving me in return, not what they haven't or what they may in the future. That's my point.
That's well put.
You know. What about you, Mark? What's your opinion?
I will never ever pre-order another EA product.
See, the only reason I do the fucking E3 sale pre-orders is because of the price of fucking games in Canada.
Yeah.
The only reason I won't do it digital, it's a physical copy, so I can return the fucking thing. If they, like I said, I've already returned one game this year because of the fact of what the developers and stuff done. So on a pre-order, and I'll be doing it for Star. I would have canceled it, but I ordered multiple games on one order, and I can't go in and cancel just one of them. It doesn't.
Right,
there's no option.
You gotta wipe the whole thing.
Right, and then I lose all my other pre-orders, and that's like God of War and Red Dead Redemption and shit like that.
I don't even know if I could be bothered to buy another EA thing on. Like the last 2 EA games I bought were first Battlefront and Battlefield 1, and I've probably got like a combined total of 40 hours in both of those games.
Yeah, but you would have Vader unlocked though.
I would have at least unlocked an opportunity.
Yeah, there you go.
To maybe get Vader.
He'd at least sit in your inventory.
After I rank my character up for another 6 months, maybe be good enough to actually.
He could sit in your inventory and breathe heavy into your fucking ear while you play.
Right.
Yeah, I could do that for free though.
Like,
Sweet. Sweet. That's the Baker. That's the Gladys the Baker DLC.
The baker's dozen loot box.
Send me money, I'll breathe heavy in your ear.
Right.
All right, well, that's gonna wrap it up for us here. That is the current Star Wars EA Battlefront controversy.
Where's EA headquartered out of?
California.
I don't want to type.
Hell.
Let's see. Didn't Dice Stockholm develop this game?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so that's where we're going. Go fuck yourself, Stockholm, because you have Dice there.
Yeah.
Poor
so if we've missed any important details, if there's been more changes, quote changes, if they've fixed everything already and this podcast is no longer relevant, feel free to let us know. Other people have. We'll be linking everything that we've talked about in the description. I feel personally, and I think these guys agree, this is very important.
It is.
This is not just outrage at one
This thing could have like long-lasting ramifications throughout the entire gaming.
It needs to. It definitely needs to.
It really does. Yeah, it really does need to.
Yeah. The silent, festering negativity around the loot box and microtransactions that we've been seeing invade our video games that we love and cherish has slowly and finally hit a boiling point.
Yep.
We'll see where it takes us, and the 4-Player Co-op podcast will be there every couple weeks probably. And maybe not with 4 people either. Yeah. But
hey,
some of us will be around.
The fucking podcast is RNG based.
That's great. The number of players we have in this podcast is RNG completely.
That's right. So when our PayPal account gets 15,000 credits, we will roll a D20 and see which 3 of us can come out of the woods.
Yeah. But as always, guys, we want to thank you very much for listening. And again, if you have any feedback, comments, you want to insult us, that's fine. Just send us a comment. Everything we talked about is going to be linked in the YouTube description. If you're on SoundCloud, head over to the YouTube page. You can find all the links as well. Peruse at your leisure. And we'll end this with a big fuck you to EA.
And thanks for listening to everybody else.
Take it easy, bitches.
See.
Penis.
Sweet.
Alrighty. There it is.